Hello, this is Michael Enso with Advertising Report Card, and today we have a very special report card for Balchem.com. The reason why this report card is special is because it was very unique. So we do not have a campaign. This is for Google Ads. Let's jump right in. So first of all, Advertising Report Card is a structured system where we go through a campaign, whether it exists or not, and build out an entire strategy of what could be scaled with. Since there is not a campaign in place, and the purpose of this was for the competitor strategy that we initially discussed, which is placing ads above our competitors, that is going to be the main focus. And also a little intro about Balchem. Balchem is in the market of specialty performance ingredients and products. They operate through a lot of big companies and big branches as well, and they have very interesting products, including things like spray-dried emulsified powder systems, cereal systems, which, of course, my favorite. And then we also have different types of divisions as well that focus on industrial products, animal nutrition. Very interesting company. Looks like an amazing company. The stock chart for the company is also amazing. So highly recommend taking a look at this company in general. They are doing amazing things. So to hop on the way in, first things first is the Google Ads review. On the onboarding form that was submitted, there was some keywords that were chosen that we wanted to show for, and they were mixed between things like zinc, and then there's also the vitacholine and the chelated zinc, and there's a few things that I wanted to go over, and I'm really glad that you guys decided to do one of these, because just diving in and getting a chance to look at all the research really was eye-opening. As an example, zinc as a keyword, depending on if it's B2C or B2B, which you guys are focused on B2B as a company, what you're going to see is search volume changing drastically based off of the keywords that you put in place. So as an example, zinc, if you just put that in, tons of searches, very competitive. If you had zinc as a keyword in a campaign, it would probably spend the entire campaign's budget in the day. So that is one thing to really consider, is bidding on what keywords and what the context of the keyword is, like zinc supplement, zinc vitamins. Are people looking for a product, or are they looking for your services specifically? So of course you can also see chelated zinc, which is one of the other keywords that was submitted originally for the request. So I did an initial audit, and the main thing I was finding on the zinc side is that we were getting different types of searches in with great volume, but is this the type of thing we want to show up for? And even looking at your competitors, I mean, there's a lot of different strategies in place as far as what content to show up for. And one thing that's really interesting is that you actually do get organic traffic for some of these basic searches. But again, when you want to pay for ads, you want to make sure that you're contextually looking at things that are going to make sense. So once I also started to look at the different searches like Z-Life, I saw that again, it was, highly product driven. Oh, well, Z-Life in general was actually one of the keywords I was wanting to ask about as well, because it'd be very easy to take for that one. I was thinking this one. Biglycinate, I imagine. You can see that Thorn product is one of the people that have your product in their product, I'm imagining, or maybe this is a competitor providing the ingredients, or maybe both. But at the end of the day, a lot of people searching for this are looking for retail, and that's the main thing that you want to be aware of before you bid on these ads, is that there's going to be ad budget from other companies focusing on these types of products. So I looked at all of them, and they all change differently. The one that's different is the vitacholine, but it's all kind of the same as far as just the core searches. So I have a strategy in place that we can focus on for that specific thing. But one thing I really did notice is once I dug a little bit deeper, I essentially just went through the website and just read all of the pages, because I really just had to get a good understanding. And then once I started to research all the competitors in comparison, I saw like the positioning in the industry and the different focuses. So it definitely helped me get a better scope of some of the keywords that we should be looking for. And what I did in the report is I sorted a few of them as an example. There's a whole array of what we could really go after, but I'm going to filter out retail and just focus on services. And now what we have is what people are actually looking for when they're looking for your services. So this is an entire different category of search, and it comes with a different context and a different thought process as well. And then also inside of these search terms, there's different nuances that you guys probably would and wouldn't want to fall into. Like for instance, like beef processing plant might not be as something as interesting as like a different type of processing that you work with as far as the ingredients go. Sorry, I kind of drew a blank down the example, but as far as food manufacturing, like there's services you guys probably do and don't offer, or places or things that you do that your competitors don't, as an example. So things that we're looking for on this side are really just about trying to match the services you guys offer with what people are actually searching for. As you can see here, a couple of the solutions like beverage versus food. And then there's also contract manufacturing, which is one of the services as well on the website. So the main thing I'm trying to tie in with the strategy in general is just making sure that when we bid, we are getting positioned on the keywords that matter most, and also getting there now because competition is starting to increase. What I thought was interesting about these keywords that were on the, I would say, upper end of the funnel of knowledge. So you might not know exactly what you're looking for, but you know you're looking for something with chelated zinc. Vita choline again is the choline is again the outlier because it's your guys' product, but the chelated zinc again kind of like zinc as well. But if you start to look at these more competitive searches, boom, what you start to see are a lot of people competing for that specific type of service. Now, do they do the exact same things you guys do? No, but I was looking at some of these competitors, and what it seems to be is that they are doing the solutions for the products, and they're getting the ingredients and everything, and they're doing white label, and they're also doing private label, and they're doing different types of services that are similar. And if you look enough, there's plenty of competitors advertising on this space. So it's not like just showing for zinc in general where you're doing like the mass market. When you start to really look at these types of searches, you start to see that there's dozens of companies that do all different types of variations of what you do, and they might not do the whole thing, and they might not have the science, and they might not have the resources and the ability and the the Balchem team or anything like that, but they are bidding and they're taking real estate on searches that might relate people to your business. Do you want all the traffic for all these searches? Probably not, but certain things you might be able to do. So on the competitor review side, one thing I thought was really interesting was that Inofis and Denali have never advertised on their site as far back as we could track. So that is one thing to keep in mind, is that there is market share to have and own of these people. I would literally have a competitor campaign bidding on them if they are actually competitors to you and just taking as much traffic from them as possible. So things to keep in mind. Carry, on the other hand, has been advertising since 2018 and has been enjoying the market share that they have gone pretty much uncontested for. Uh, Main reason being is that they're doing a lot of brand plus product keywords that they're bidding on. Also, it looks like they're bidding on some city terms, which doesn't make a lot of sense. I'm not quite sure why they would do that, because unless they're selling to people that are in person, and that's something that they're trying to help direct traffic to. I'm not 100% sure on that. But they also have, carry ingredients and carry taste and nutrition and keywords like that, and they have their branded ads, which is good because they're making sure that they're covering their core products, which is a part of the strategy I'm going to go over here in a bit. They also have a display campaign running, so they have a bunch of variations of different banner ads, and these are some of the websites that they're publishing on, that they're focusing on as well. And the thing that's interesting about this is that some of it's good, some of it's kind of random. It's not really a polished campaign, so it's not very competitive. Likewise, either is a search campaign for that matter. But because if you look at the ads, there's definitely a lot of value that can be added to an ad right next to this ad that could probably take the traffic. But with that being said, they have pretty good coverage across different interests. I don't know if all of these would be worth posting banner ads on. Also, one thing I thought was interesting is that they're all over the planet. with other being 42% of the traffic. So I'm not 100% sure what their goal is with that, but they definitely are all over the planet. So, I mean, I prefer to pick country specific targets and strategies and devote a whole strategy to that country. If you're going to go outside of the United States, which is predominantly the work that I do, United States and Canada, but UK and France, and then that much in the others, I'm not 100% sure. And then also, just in general, while looking at market research, found some other possible competitors, and a lot of them are not doing a lot of advertising on their products. The ones that are dominating. So that's what I wanted to kind of talk about on the review side for competitors. The main thing that I wanted to emphasize on the strategy for the keyword campaign is really the main piece I wanted to talk about as far as how to structure the campaigns to launch. It's going to be different depending on what we end up communicating on regarding how you want to do targeting across the board. The competitor strategy is definitely something that is going to be able to be ironed out, but that's going to be targeting specific competitor stuff. We got to figure out what Balchem might want to benefit from a campaign as well. So first of all, anybody searching for your name, making sure that you are showing an ad. Right now, any competitor can put an ad on top of your search result, and you can't do anything about that. And if you are starting to get competition in the market, it's important to start doing that now. Since there is nobody really bidding on your name yet, and you are your name, so you're a one-to-one match on that search, the actual cost, if anybody did click the ad, would be pennies. And then likewise, you can also position the ad if someone searches for you to direct them into your site the same way and just bulk up all of the real estate on Google search. Also, Balchem, I don't know how you guys want to handle this, but I'm sure that you're more than aware of the company that with one misspelling goes to another type of product development type of company. Thing about this is a lot of people could potentially do typos, and that's one thing you might want to consider is parking an ad over Balchem. Now, I'm not sure if those products that they're creating are even remotely related to what you guys do, or if it would be a complete waste, but making sure if anybody did do a typo to see if you can drive that traffic to you. I'm interested to see if that'd be a strategy that would be something that could be mitigated on cost to keep it cheap, but still make sure that if someone accidentally searches for the wrong thing, that you show up. For the top of funnel, the main thing I was looking at as well is that there's different levels of how people are looking for your service as far as like doing the supplement ingredient supplying and the different types of development and the different types of services is people who don't really know exactly what they're looking for yet. So when someone searches zinc, and I mean, they're not necessarily automatically thinking, I'm looking for a zinc manufacturer. It's like zinc could be just looking to buy zinc pills because you heard zinc was healthy for you. But when you're looking for a production company, looking at the more the long tail searches that people are putting into Google, like where to source ingredients for food production, things of that nature, those are things that we can try to target and add to the campaign in order to try to bring traffic in for people that might be newer to the market. Now, the problem with that is that you're also going to be netting people that might not be senior or at a level in the market, depending on the type of companies you're willing to work with. I'm not, again, 100% sure like what it would take for a company to work with you and what the qualifications are, but that would immediately determine how you would want to handle the top of the funnel. Reason being on the search side is that top of funnel are people who are not very educated on the product, but you guys have a specialized service and a specialized product that you create and deliver and also manage. So there's not really a segment of your buyer market that is uninformed. You either know what's going on or you don't. And that's why it took me so long to create this report card, because I did a lot of research just to really, truly, fully understand that aspect of how to do the search campaign. Because at the end of the day, I needed to figure out what structure to focus the bids on. Now, the main thing with also on this funnel strategy is bid management. We're going to be able to allocate budget between the different strategies so that you know that the bottom of funnel ones that we, again, agree on as far as the keywords go are the ones that are focused on most. So if top of funnel was or was not relevant, this is a questionable thing. Middle of funnel is definitely relevant, but it's not specific. So on middle of funnel, it's beverage formulation companies, supplement ingredient suppliers. It's not very specific. It is middle of funnel. People know what they're looking for, but they might not know the very specifics of what they're looking for. And then you can also do long tail searches of this as well that are similar to this, but are more specific to the actual keywords that somebody might enter if they are informed of what they're looking for and have done enough research to qualify themselves as somebody middle of funnel. And again, how do they qualify themselves as being someone in the middle of funnel? Is they're searching for things that people who know more than people who don't know anything at all. They've researched enough or been told or referred, something along the lines. And then bottom of funnel would be the exact specific keywords that you want to show up for combined with the service. So choline manufacturers or producers, and zinc ingredient supplier, and bisglycinate food ingredient supplier, Z-Life ingredient supplier. So there's different types of keywords and searches that people will look for in that fashion that you would want to cover as well. That way you're covering the intent in addition to the keyword. Now, getting some guidance on exactly what people would look for these individual keywords, it would be more helpful, because on that way we can also target why someone would search for choline manufacturers. And that could also be top of funnel, like benefit of including choline in my supplement product, as an example, could be considered top of funnel. But you'd also be using a specific type of search. The person doesn't know if they want to include it or what the benefit of it is. They're not looking for the service. They're just doing research. That's also considered top of funnel. So next would be the core keywords. There's specific keywords that we definitely want to show up for and are becoming more competitive. So making sure that we're showing up for these is definitely important. And anybody can bid on these as well. The problem with some of these too is that they're going to have to be they're going to have to be ironed out. I'm just looking at all these things that are so irrelevant. The main thing that you're going to want to be careful about when bidding on those specific types of terms is things like hotel or service or food, or things that are just, or food is relevant. But as far as like the things that don't make sense for this specific search is what you're going to want to try to block for. And one thing that I felt was interesting about that as well is if I hop into analytics, I wanted to show a report specifically. Hold tight with me for 1 second. What you can see here in Google Analytics is since July 6th, the last 90 days, you already are showing for specific types of search terms that are identical to the keyword that we had discussed, and they led to actions that were on the site. So these are the core keyword strategies, which again, this is kind of like a combination of what was originally submitted. And then after doing the research, breaking out some of these specific keywords that you guys would want to focus on, and then having the variations, of course, with that as well. That would be considered bottom of funnel. But also, if you want to make sure that you show up for this specifically, if you want to show up for specific things specifically, I thought that magnesium as well was interesting for considering it's the most users that have brought in traffic as a search term. So there are some good searches coming in from those keywords, and that's why you would also want to make sure if it is becoming competitive and people are trying to steal traffic from you, that you also can bid keywords on those as well. And last but not least, the competitor strategy, which we're going to dive into a little more depth here shortly. So I also added some notes as far as keywords and value. Not all things are the same value. So make sure that you understand the context and motivation for what people are searching. So as an example too, I wanted to highlight why the core campaign existed, which is an additional note right here. On the competitor campaign, it's basically mirroring the structure that we just went over. But what's different is we look and pull apart the company we're trying to target, and we look at the different levels that we want to target them on. So on the most basic level, you have their brand keyword, like let's delete this section right here. Balchem could be considered a competitor potentially, not sure, but Carry Ingredients definitely is, because you guys supplied that person as a competitor, and they are advertising actively with about $10,000 a month in budget, probably, with how many ads they're showing. And then as far as top of funnel goes, you're looking at Carry Ingredients as an example, the keyword that they had put out there, and then middle of funnel, Carry Food Ingredients Supplier, and then bottom of funnel, something like one of their proprietary products, like Radical plant-based ingredients Carry, or just if you could remove Carry and just keep Radical if it has enough brand recognition as a trademark term. Radical is trademarked by Carry; it's one of their products. Um, you have a couple options there. And in addition to that, you have your core keyword strategy. So that's going to be Radical Carry. So the main thing at the end of the day is that if you're trying to be competitive with them, or if they're trying to be competitive with you, all you have to do is bid on their name. But you can see here, this keyword is going uncontested right now. Oh, a little guy. There we go. He's going, they are uncontested right now. So you can throw an ad right on top of them. And that can be very beneficial if you're trying to drive traffic when someone is looking for different variations of what they offer. You can also go down here and see what other people are searching as well. Carry Ingredients products. Uncontested. You'll be showing an ad here as well. And then Carry Food Ingredient Supplier. Same concept. Oops. And now what you can see here is either this food ingredient supplier or ingredient supplier triggered 4 ads to show up on top. Carry Food Ingredient Supplier. So not only did it seem at first that there was no competition, the moment someone actually started searching for the services that are being offered, they are no longer on the first fold of a desktop. So the competition is definitely intense. You can see here, they aren't even showing, and I have the big monitor screen, so you know I have a lot of real estate on my screen as well. I have to scroll down just to get to the organic listing. So that's the competitor strategy. It's very effective. There's a few things to consider with the competitive strategy as well. Let me fix that guy. The main thing is that people are looking for your competitor, right? If you pop up, you might get some misclicks, but the main thing is that the actual ad copy that's written for the competitive strategy needs to have more value than what is showing in the result. So this is what shows up for Carry: food and beverage ingredients and products. Deliver optimal taste, nutrition, texture, function. Let's take a look at some of these ads as an example. Find food ingredient solutions. Compare food ingredients, search, sample, quote, and purchase. I'd say it's similar. Register as a free buyer. Boom. Call to action. Value proposition. Largest food ingredients marketplace in the F&B industry. They had a great thing going, and then they fell off with this content, which is really not relevant. Latest news. When we run an ad, so you have news. ICL Food Specialties. You can see here that they actually have a lead form on their ad, which pops up to this, which is all done through Google Ads. This is one of the things that we also do for companies that can be added to ads. So that's another thing as well. The competitive side is just what can you do to get in front of your competitor, like these 4 businesses, and get that traffic before they even scroll down to see what Carrie is saying. The next thing I was going to tap into was the display strategy. So Carrie's doing extensive banner ads, but they're not that great. They're pretty generic, and the targeting isn't too hot either. So what I did is I just pulled a couple examples of the audience targeting, which end of day, this should be live just for remarketing for people who visit the site. But in general, you can actually target these audiences on Google with banner ads. So you have detailed demographics, affinity, and then in market. Detailed is just in general, parental status, marital education, homeowner status. Affinity is their interest, the type of personalities, things that they're into, and then in market are purchases that they're getting ready to make. So there's not anything that says specifically on Google's data set that says I am a product creator looking for a manufacturer, but there are a few things that we might be able to target, like their education, their work position. Affinity is something we might need to discuss. I didn't want to throw out any wrong recommendations. Shots in the dark on this one. But as far as in marketing, people who are looking for business and industrial services or products could be potential. Also, a big thing on the PPC landing pages is that there's no need to send the traffic to the homepage. And the reason why I say that is because you have actual product and service pages that we can go after. And as an example, I'm going to pop this open right now, is the human nutrition health market segment of the business, the beverage side. People are searching for beverage-related searches. You can see here on the report that I pulled, beverage formulation companies. So this is something that can be targeted that is relevant. So if someone searches for this, why would they click on this and want to stick around if the page was just our homepage versus the actual beverage page? That's really important because when it comes to Google Ads, you're paying for every click. It's not like organic where you can like just optimize your site over time and try to rank your other pages, because you really want your homepage to rank first and foremost for searches when you're organic on a website. But with PPC, you can actually cherry pick the correct pages to send those specific searches to. So when it comes to beverage, when it comes to the specific products that Balchem offers, sending that traffic to those individual pages is going to increase retention, because if they get to a page that's not relevant, they will bounce. I always word it as, if you order a pepperoni pizza and they deliver sausage, what are you going to think? You're going to be happy, or you're going to be upset that they delivered the wrong thing. Or in this instance, it could be like vegetarian versus pepperoni. But at any rate, main thing is that you want to be specific about the landing pages you're sending the traffic to. The YouTube ad strategy, really surprised actually that there isn't one in place, because you guys have so many videos on the channel. I highly recommend that you definitely put some of these videos to use. I'm not sure, if you can access these videos or if we're allowed to use them or what the rules are, but since they're on your page, I figure, there might be something that we could tap into. Also, I know for SEO in general, the videos definitely will help. But let's say somebody visits that beverage page that we were just talking about on the landing page. If there's a video explaining your beverage service or explaining maybe a case study about a beverage product you worked on, and following that person around with that video for 30 days or however many days we decide we want to remarket people to, is going to reinforce what it is that you offer, because there's no way that they made it to your page on your website for that specific service unless they were looking for something specific. So that's a real big thing about remarketing, is it can be specific to the actual pages that they visit. And that is one thing I highly recommend for YouTube, is to follow them with the videos. Plus, there are also different demographics you can target with the videos and topics that you can target as well. So there's a lot of strategies you can use with YouTube, but even if you're not using it as a prospecting tool to reach new audiences, using it as a remarketing tool for existing audiences is very powerful. On the ad creative side, just wanted to give some tips, the flavor of the week as far as what people are responding to on ads. TikTok explainer video format, 15-second videos with captions on them, even if it's not exactly done in TikTok, if it's just styled like that. 15 seconds is also the benchmark for YouTube and Facebook for a thing called a through play, a THRU play. It's a metric that's being used to show the value of an ad, and if the ad gets past 15 seconds, it's actually a key performance indicator that you can optimize your ads for. One thing that's really close to keep in mind here also is that the placements of those shorter ads are a lot easier to get out there. They're a lot more versatile. They can be used on social for social ads as well. They're very sticky. So utilizing what's going to be working now is really important. Plus, after doing hours of research, I'm well aware of the fact that the industry is specialized to the point to where anyone in it knows what they're dealing with. But still, TikTok is becoming a familiar format. If people don't use it themselves, they have friends that send them videos on Instagram or Facebook. They see the videos as well because it's just a format that's going around. Plus, they have a family. They probably see their kids using it. So the idea, too, is that it's relative. People are used to seeing it. It's a format that's being widely consumed right now, subconsciously almost. So tap into that. And also, it works well on Instagram story placements as well for the video. In addition to that, those videos can be modified outside of TikTok in video editors, but just doing it on TikTok super fast and easy. Taking random footage, loading it in, and just adding captions, explaining what's going on, and maybe using that little stupid, silly robot voice that they have in those videos that are coming out. It's going to be beneficial. Reason being, again, it's just something that people are familiar with and they consume the content. It's also very effective for mobile. Likewise, one thing I was going to mention is any type of testimonials. We can talk about the products. I have a concept about that I want to bring up, but as far as people who are working with you and have had success using your product, anybody who can give a testimonial, if we can use that to target people that are your ideal customer with a YouTube ad or just banner ads that might link to a testimonial page or have a testimonial page on the website where we can link to, extremely beneficial. Reason being is that you can essentially tell the story of your customer. And while they might not relate directly to your content out of the gate, what they're looking for on the website, if they can just see an example of themselves having success with your company, they always say that your existing customers are your number one salespeople. So take that into consideration. Also, on the images, as far as the branding goes, this is something that you should always have for remarketing as well because it's extremely cheap, is to continue to remarket ads. When I say cheap, what I mean is that you can get a lot of exposure for a decent amount of budget. So as an example, Kelly's running $5,000 to $10,000 in budget probably a month between search and display, and they are everywhere. When it comes to visiting their site and you leave, you're getting display ads from them constantly. And then as far as search goes for their terms, they're always, well, they're uncontested, but they're up there. It's really the display that's eating the majority of their budget. So making sure that you have decent branding and a lot of different mixes for your different products. Again, circling back to keywords, making sure that we are focusing on the specific individual services and then the different pages as well, having image ads for each individual service on the pages. As an example, again, the beverage side. One second. And then that way we can make sure that everyone who visits the site gets a different look at a different type of service you offer. It's very effective in branding in general, but since you are in a specialized market, it could also be an effective conversion tool. Display ads are not usually conversion oriented. They're really more for branding. But the reason why I said they could be used as a conversion tool is when you're in such a specified market, it is very plausible to be able to use a display campaign, especially with remarketing, to actually bring a lead back. So next, on another innovation by Balchem, the one thing I was going to recommend is taking some of the end products that you guys have created and just getting some product images that have probably already been done to help sell them, like the retail products, but brand them another product by Balchem. Reason being is that you could show a real wide array of the different products that you've created with your ingredients in a very interesting, creative way. And I wanted to try to pitch this idea as a way to actually use display to your advantage, because not only can you direct market your services to someone who's visited your site with a banner ad that says, hey, we do contract manufacturing, but also showing the end result of that contract manufacturing, I think would be very beneficial in a visual way. And I'm sure that in the industry, you guys are always looking for different ways to be creative and stand out. And I figured that this could be an interesting way of doing that. Last but not least, remarketing campaigns all the way around. Just making sure in general that if anybody's visited the site or interacted with an ad, that we are placing them in a custom audience that is valued differently, and that we have ads pointing and bidding differently on that. Because we want to work those people down the funnel. If they visited your site but did not fill out the form or did not reach out, then we want to make sure that we're serving them ads that are going to get them to reach out. This is the advertising report card for Google Ads. The B2B focus here is very interesting. The one thing that I thought notes-wise was the submission in general was the focus on the keywords was what was throwing me off at first. It was just this list of keywords that you want to target with ads, and I just could not get my head around. It's like, why would we be focusing on the products? And then once I started to do the research and then reverse engineered the actual searches that people are looking for your services, it all started to make a lot of sense. So when it says like food, you can also do like zinc food product developers, zinc food, zinc ingredient formulation. You can be as specific as possible. That's really what the actual funnel's for on the keyword structure. But yeah, I mean that's the idea. I think that if you launched a competitor campaign, you would be doing yourself a favor to also launch this entire campaign. Reason being is that for PPC and the budget you'll need, you're either going to pay the same for one campaign or pay to have all the things live, and all the things live are going to get you a better result. When it comes to the top, middle of the funnel, bottom of the funnel, core keywords, all that would be launched plus YouTube and banner ads. So if you just did the competitor, that would be done, but you'd only be focusing on that. And then the competitor can turn around and start bidding on your keywords. So if it's not built out, then you're just asking eventually for traffic to be taken from you. And as a reminder, once you start searching for these terms, you do have a lot of competition. People are after these keywords. This is not an uncontested market. The keywords that you guys are looking to bid on are very different categories. Your specific products, your core keywords. But at the end of the day, people who are looking for services that you're looking for, it's a completely different search term. They're not looking for just zinc. They're looking for someone in that industry. So bidding on this, and then also focusing on your individual products. Again, this is Michael Ensor. So the way that advertising report card works, to kind of end the video, is that if you want, you can take this and try to run it yourself, or if you have an agency running things for you, you can run it with them. Or if you'd like us to build this out and launch it for you, since we already have an action plan and a firm understanding of the business, less all other questions we'd like to kind of polish things up on, we would be happy to launch this for you. Advertisingreportcard.com. We are here for you if you ever have any questions. Looking forward to your feedback on this. If you like this video, please make sure to like and share. If you are possible to do that, always helps the YouTube channel. Have a good one, guys.